Perfect.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Pfunzo's View podcast. So today I decided that I wanted to try a little something different since I've been just doing the voice ones. Now if this works well, you're gonna actually get me actually looking into the camera or looking into the mic. I'm not quite sure. I've been comfortable just looking in this direction, but then the camera is that direction. So I just decided, you know what, let's get back on the camera. I feel less stressed now. So today I just decided we're gonna do the podcast and I'm gonna be here again. This is not gonna be edited like everything else you've been listening to. I'm pretty sure you have heard that it is not edited at all. Am I saying that right? It feels like I'm just saying edited. Like, or is it something that I just saw on Twitter? I'm not quite sure. Not Twitter, TikTok. Now I know I'm addicted to TikTok, yet I'm just talking about Twitter or whatever. But yeah, also if it seems like it's a hashtag, I'm not quite sure how this is gonna be coming off. So this is my first one I'm doing the podcast, and you can see the microphone and the light is literally right here, so it's gonna be like on my face. So I'm gonna see some editing, but this one's gonna come out as is. I'm not gonna change anything from it, and hopefully I will not have to refilm this because I messed up somewhere somehow. So yeah, so this is how I've been situated. Usually when I'm talking to you guys, I'm just looking in this direction. I am literally not dressed up all that. I'm just probably wearing my PJs or something, and it's like super late at night, which is still late at night, and I had to do this now because you're gonna have load shedding. Because why not, let's just forget about that and let's just get into what is happening today. Or should I just start off with like how I'm feeling, y'all? Because today I had this whole entire past week I had a mock assignment I had to submit. I think I said this on the last podcast. I had a mock assignment that I had to submit. Also, if you see the light changing, it's because my light inside of where I'm filming decides to switch off on and off whenever it feels like. So I'm sorry about that, but it's gonna come back on. But I'm pretty sure this one you should be seeing me. Maybe it's just a lot more, maybe too harsh or something. I'm sorry about that. So in any case, so I had a mock assignment I had to submit. Then I had an assignment that I had to submit as well again on I think Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? I think Wednesday I had an assignment I had to submit. Then Thursday I had another one to submit. Then I think, or was it Friday I had one to submit. Then Saturday I had one to submit. And today Sunday I had to submit one. One was like first trying out myself, like to see like if I knew what it is that I was going to write an assignment on. And then the second part was, I guess, the official one. And my goodness, I'm so happy that it actually went well. And now I have more coming. At this point, at least, I feel like I at least have a day to at least rest. But I also still need to go book for the learner's license. I need to go write that. I failed it the last time I did it, and I have not gone back or booked. And I need to go do that. I was trying in another week. Then I had to go get my eyes, like the certificate for my eyes, since I wear glasses. I don't know why I'm not wearing them right now, but I wear glasses. And so I got that certificate, and now I just have to, I don't know when I'm gonna go, but this week I'm definitely gonna go this week. But I think I have 2 assignments due if they don't get pushed back, so we're gonna see how far we are. And again, if you ever listen to my podcast, I ramble on the first few minutes of this thing just about how my day was, because why not? It's still podcast. So anyway, let's get into today's topics. So today I'm gonna be talking about just things that are gonna maybe offend people or are a bit sensitive or whatever it is. They're just very polarizing topics. So I'm gonna be talking about abortion, the pro-life people and pro-choice people. I'm pro-choice. So I don't know if I'm actually gonna get into it, but sexuality. And then also I think the other thing is just gonna be marriage, which is probably like the third time I'm talking about it, but I'm just talking about polygamy. And I saw in South Africa they want to pass a law for polyandry. So That's why I'm also gonna be talking about that. And I think maybe I'll sprinkle in a little bit of divorce or whatever I feel like sprinkling in. Like the relationship one was supposed to have all of this in it, but I didn't want to like bore you guys with like 2 hours of you guys listening to me ramble about nonsense. I already ramble about nonsense, but I didn't want it to be 2 hours of that. I'm pretty sure you would not like that. So on this one, let's just start. So what I'm gonna start off is, right, like, so before I do these shows, I literally have a conversation with my inner voice, and I'm like looking at like how I would actually like how I'm gonna talk about these topics. Of course, when I come here, it all just disappears for sometimes, and sometimes it actually comes back, and hopefully this is gonna be one of those times. So where we're gonna start off is with like the whole abortion topic, right? So by the way, if you want to know where I stand with it, it's your decision as the girl, because all the risk is with you and not with no one else. Also, if it has to do with mental whatever, the whole consequences of whatever it is, it's all left with you. So for me, I am saying whatever decision you want to take that one, and that's yours, and that's yours alone. So in this situation, I'm gonna be talking about, like, I remember there was a time where I was having a conversation, or we were having a conversation with my friends. Why I say we? I'm alone in this room. So I was having a conversation with my friends, and we were talking about like a scenario where, so the story is, right? So picture this: it is a guy and a girl, and they are in a relationship, right? And then they have unprotected sex, and then that results in a pregnancy. Now, in that situation, they were asking me, so if the girl found out that she was pregnant and the guy told her to have an abortion, now and then the girl did not have the abortion, and then she had the baby, now is he responsible for the child support, right? So that's the scenario. So my take on that was, right, which, again, I don't know if there's a right or wrong or whatever it is, but this was just my opinion on this whole entire situation. For me, it was this, ne? Okay, let's just look at this like in a logical way, right? So two people decided to I was trying to look for a word that was not just straight up. So two people decided to have intercourse with each other, right? And both of them decided that contraception was not a thing that they took. So no pill was taken, condoms were not worn, and the gel was not used. So no means was used to protect themselves from not just pregnancies, guys, from STDs and STIs. Nothing, no precautions were taken in that situation, right? And some of us have been in those situations where, you're happy, the mood is happening, and then things happen. I get it. We've been through that situation at some point, I think, where we lost all our senses. So at that situation, both of them, there was a consequences that happened, right? Now at that situation, but one of them now is taking the responsibility for their own part in having one get pregnant, right? So she's deciding that, I'm gonna have the kid, and I will take responsibility for my side of this child. Right, I'm gonna make sure that whatever she can provide for the kid, she's gonna provide if she can, right? And then you have the situation of the guy who does not want to face his consequences. Now, if you are of the opinion that the guy doesn't have to because he said she should get an abortion, for one, an abortion, when it comes to the risks, right? When it comes to anything going wrong with the procedure, because it's still a procedure, right? If it is internal bleeding, if it is loss of the womb, or if it is like other repercussions of the situation, if it is like, there's a lot of things. It could be that she ends up passing away. It could be that it is a quack doctor or something. You don't know in that situation what's going to happen. But the person who has the brunt of all the risks that's going to happen to their body, like directly happening to them, is the girl in that situation. So if the person now who is carrying the child does not want to take that risk, and they are willing, by the way, pregnancy on its own as well is a risk. So people acting as if, like, if I took the decision of having the child, there is no risk in it. There's a lot of risk involved with a child, because when they're in you, they're still a parasite, because they're basically like whatever you're eating and all the nutrients and all of the things they get from you in order for them to survive while they're still within you, right? So when the fetus is still in you, it is kind of like a parasite. It's acting like a parasite on your body, and once it comes out, then it starts, being a parasite financially. But but we digress. So, so in that situation, I do believe that when it comes to whether or not to keep the child, it should just solely be the decision of the girl, most especially if she's considering everything. If she's considering that she was not ready for this thing and she didn't want to have it, then by all means. And if it's a situation of that it's a risk to her health, please, by all means. And also if she just wants to, by all means. And if she wants to keep the kid because she wants to take responsibility for the thing that she did, it's also up to her. But also for you, once a child is born and then you're like, no, but I don't want to pay child support because what do you call it? Because I told her to get an abortion. Child, if you did not want to have the child, it's called protection or abstinence. If you felt like you didn't want to be a daddy, protect yourself. If you don't want to be abstinent, if you don't want to do the abstinence thing, or use protection. I'm just saying, this whole entire thing for me, if you want to argue for the guy, the only thing I think of is like, you have to take responsibility for your action. Like, you cannot be sitting and then be like, oh no, because I said this. No, well, that choice of whether or not that kid is gonna come to this earth, that one can no longer be yours, because you are not risking anything for that child, whether to be born or not to be born, right? And there was another scenario I remember that we were talking on, right? It was a situation where, let's say, there was the paternal side, right? Let's say again, two people were fooling around, then the pregnancy happened, and the girl was like, no, I don't want to keep this child. And then he decided that, oh no, I wanted to keep this child, please don't do an abortion or whatever, right? And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that word, but please do not perform, And in that situation, right, I just look at it and I'm just like, okay, fine. And then you have people and you're like, yeah, you should have kept it. I mean, it's also doesn't he also have the right to the kid and everything? I'm just like, listen, there's this scenario plays in my head, right? Okay, I'm pregnant, right? And then I have guy X sitting there, right? So the guy, we're pregnant together, and then I want to have the abortion, but he doesn't want me to have the abortion, right? Let's say everything looks kumbaya, everything is going well, everything is fine. Maybe we're no longer really together, because in that scenario, it sounded more like they were no longer together. Or even if they were, let's say things sour, maybe let's say 4 months in, right? Or 5 months in. I'm still fully pregnant, right? Let's say 6 months in. I'm fully pregnant. And now the guy, let's say we broke up or something, maybe something happened. And then he decides to go into a new relationship and he's happy, whatever the hell he's doing, or whatever, or they're happy, whatever is happening, right? And in that situation, the guy then decides that, you know what? Which happens, by the way. If you don't think this happens, it happens. He goes like, now I'm my child, I don't want to take care of that child. I don't want it anymore. Remember, you didn't want this child. You wanted to let go of this situation, right? I'm sitting in this situation and I was like, I don't want the kid. Most usually because we did not know, one, maybe we don't know each other, or two, I just did not, at that time I was not prepared for that kid, right? And that situation happened and I had an option and I wanted to take it. And then this guy decides that he's in a new relationship. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen in every situation, but I'm just saying at the back of my mind, this is the thing that's playing in my head. Like, it could be a possibility that this guy decides that, oh, I'm going to just say, I'm going to deny the child, which happens way too often. Denies the child completely and says, oh, I don't want that child anymore. That's not mine. Oh, no, you know what? I have a new relationship. You just don't want to make me happy. Now I'm stuck with a kid that I had said I wanted to get rid of. But because y'all have such an opinion on other people's lives, you'll be here telling them that, oh no, have the child. Oh, it's a blessing. Blessing on who? If I do, it's not a blessing to me. Why are you trying to floss? Not floss. Force your blessing on me. This is the same situation that I saw on TikTok, right? And I remember this girl was like, okay, so she decided to say, like, if she had gone to hospital, of course, I think the baby was high risk at that particular point in time, and she said that if it came down to it, and it was between the life of her and the life of the kid of the fetus that's not born yet, right? Which one would she choose? And she said she would choose to leave right? And in that scenario, she was talking about, she also still had, I think it was 2 or 3 other kids that she had that were there, and then she was like, I was going to choose me and not the kid. And I remember I think she made a follow-up because people were taking her like, oh, you're so selfish, or why would you do that, da da da, all of those nonsense. And I was just never like, so you think I'm gonna risk my life and I'm gonna give up my life? Listen, this is just me. I'm not saying everybody's gonna think like that. I mean, this is just me. That thing don't have a life yet. That thing is not born yet. I don't know that thing. If it's between me and the kid, I'm picking me. Okay? You better save my life. First and foremost. You better make sure that I'm alive. First and foremost. Like, no. And listen, and I know this whole thing, we people can have differing opinions, and you can have your own opinion. So I don't care about whatever opinion you have on it. This is my particular opinion on it. I don't know. Just know. Like, when people are like, oh, people just want to have, when people just like, oh, people just want to have, like, abortions, or they want to do this. In every situation, there's a reason. And if you just opened your mind to listen to why somebody did not want to have this thing, also, even if there isn't a reason, why don't you mind your damn business? Why are you asking in the first place? Like, how about you mind your business and you let me mind the business that pays me or that takes care of me? Stay in your lane and leave other people's business. How about you get busy with your own life and stop paying so much attention to other people's lives? Why is it your business? Like that whole argument, right, of the whole pro-life people, right, in most cases, too. Also, I mean, so that whole situation, right, it always baffles me. Like, when I'm sitting and I'm, like, listening to their whole thing, they will talk about how, the fetus deserves to be on earth, deserves to be born, it deserves to have a chance to live, or if that other kid was taken, then we would not have this, we would not have that. But do you know how many kids are in the foster care system? Like, they're in orphanages. How many kids need parents? But none of these people will ever take time out of their beautiful lives to ever go like, let me foster a child and actually care for the child. I'm not talking about you taking the child because you're getting money from it. I'm talking about actually loving the child enough for you to want to take care of the child. And it doesn't have to just be an infant. It can go from a child like an infant to teenagers, right? Because they get kicked out of the system at a certain, they age out of the system, which I don't know when sometimes I wonder, when government kicks out these poor children and says you've aged out, right? Where do they want these kids to go? If their whole life they've only known the orphanage, and when they reach a certain age, and I think it's 18, if I'm wrong, please do correct me. But I think in that situation, that child has nowhere to go, and you just kicked them out and said, go figure it out. I can never understand that whole situation. Like, where do you want them to go? What do you want them to do? They're children, for heaven's sake. Like, what did you want them to do? But anyway, let's get back to the issue at hand that I was talking about. Like, every time you hear, these people just want to chant about them not wanting abortion, blah blah, about life, but they never care about the life after it comes. Like, after it is born, they don't care about it. Like, they don't care at all. They're not going to be the first ones in lines going to help out in an orphanage or children who are in need. They're not going to be there. Their whole mission is to just go next to clinics or make these stupid arguments on some high horse tip where they're just like, oh, I'm pro this, I'm pro this. Like, I had a whole conversation. I was like, one is mind your business. And two, you do not know me or my situation, and that I also do not have to justify anything to you. And it just bothers me, man. Like, when I hear that situation, I'm just like, for me, I am for what you want to do. You want to keep it, keep it. You want to remove it, remove it. Whatever you want to do. My thing is, there's people that go like, oh, don't do the abortion thing, it's evil, whatever, ne? And then when you force these kids into having these children, these are the same children you will find via a dumpster, a pit toilet, or some situations like that, because these kids either were so scared to talk about the whole situation because one, they would not be allowed to have their abortion, so they decided that they're gonna hide it and then give birth to it and then go try and throw it out, so that, that in that situation, I do believe abortion would have been so much better, because at least the child would not have suffered after they were born. And then you have situations where people are like telling them like, I had a conversation, and somebody I was asking, and I was like, so you gone like you don't believe in abortion and all of those things, né? So you're telling me if somebody was raped, let's say in the situation where people can be raped and then like by somebody that they know and they didn't tell anybody, and then there's results in pregnancy, right? So like I love watching Law and Order SVU, right? And Captain Benson was as a result of a rape, but then her mother suffered like some mental situations because of the fact she couldn't deal with the fact that she was raped and had to have the child, and she couldn't even care or love the child, because every time she saw the child, she was reliving the trauma over and over again. Now you also have parents that actually end up loving the kids, but in most situations that trauma is going to be revisited over and over again. And when the person was like, no, yes, they must keep it, it's a blessing, I just looked at it and I was like, listen, this is from someone who has never had trauma of being raped or sexually assaulted or anything like that. And this is why their reasoning is in that it's a blessing, because you do not know the actual trauma that comes from going through that situation. So in your head, it is still black and white, even though it's not black and white. Now for me, I remember thinking that story, what I liked about the writing of that story was like when the person said, if you're gonna have this child, make sure you're gonna have this child and love it, and not the trauma is not gonna be something that's gonna be holding you back from loving this child, and you're gonna end up abusing this child because you cannot get over the trauma. If the situation, because I remember in an episode that I was watching where she was like more and more of the story was being told, was that the girl had been raped and then ended up being pregnant, and then she wanted to abort the child, but then people were not allowing her to abort the child. So at the beginning, you had them trying to convince her, like, are you sure, all the things and all of that, and then at the end of it she decided that she wanted to keep it, which is not the message. I'm just saying, I think they're just saying, like, at least they did talk about the fact that if you're gonna keep it, make sure you're actually gonna love it, but if you cannot, don't bring it into the world and then abuse that kid, because you're gonna just hurt and keep, like, you're gonna let that trauma travel down through the generations. Like, the number of people whom you see outside who've been traumatized by sexual assault, it's way too high, man. Like, the number of stories you will hear about children, like, or about adults who have gone through that situation, and you see the trauma even within their day-to-day lives or within their eyes, and you just see that they are suffering and there's trauma behind those eyes. There is a lot of trauma, and you tell that person, you look that person in the eye and say, you have to keep it because it's a blessing to you. When you talk from a place of privilege, or a place of innocence, I guess you can say, you don't really see your privilege shows, and it is when, for me, I feel like I can take that as being just selfish. You are a selfish human being who wants to impose their religion on somebody else, or their religious beliefs on somebody else. Which again, I always say, how you gonna judge me on your religion if I'm not part of your religion? Like, how does that make sense to you? Make it make sense. How does that to you make sense? Like, it's your beliefs. How are they now coming in and looking like they are mine? Like, So, yeah. So then, let's talk about, should I even talk about this? I feel like, do I even have the right to even talk about this? Like, when it comes to sexuality, And I think I've touched on it a little when I spoke about the religious topic, and when I spoke about relationships and stuff like that. So I spoke about it when I was speaking about the religion and relationships and everything in between. So I spoke about it, and like, I was like, there was like, I don't know why I got offended a little bit for South Africa because my country or whatever. But then when I thought about it again, and I was like, you know what? That question, when I look at what happens in this country, it makes sense. And it was the question of like, somebody was like, hey guys, like I think they were talking about African Americans or Black Americans, I don't know which word is actually, which words are actually used, but like they were talking about like, hey, come back home, you know, all of those things, right? And people, rightfully so, part of the LGBTQ plus community, were asking, will we be accepted in, because to be honest, a bunch of African countries are very, how do you say, they're very homophobic. So they were asking, and it's actually in a lot of countries it's been criminalized, right? So they were asking, but is the country safe for people part of the LGBTQ plus community? Is it safe for us to actually come there? And like at first I was like, yeah, but it's safe. And then I thought about it and I was like, I remember, I think this was in like the mid to late 2000s. Like I think it was Special Assignment or something, where there was a whole situation that happened with corrective rape. How anybody puts those two things together and in their head they said, yeah, of course, hey, let me rape someone, correcting them and their sexuality. Because that makes sense. I'm gonna see, this is the problem with rape culture in this country. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and think this country is all the way effed up. So I remember at that time that situation, that was like, that happened and that didn't go away. It's just they stopped reporting on it, but that never went away. That whole situation of corrective raping, which it just sickens me even when I say it and I'm repeating these words. I literally just and it enrages me. So that whole situation was happening, and that was in South Africa. And I think even recently, you know, there's a certain podcast that was speaking on like that was wrong. And of course, because, you know, this country also has a bunch of homophobes. They were standing up for the podcast instead of the person to just come out and apologize for what they said and how they said it. As a whole group of people, they just decided that because they had a bunch of homophobes standing up for them, why not, you know? And my thing is, I used to watch it before I even knew that the reason why the person was no longer working at a particular job was because of what they said in the first place. So I was just like, oh, okay, so yeah, okay, so that's why. And for me, I was like, the people calling them out, they were right. So part of the people who were part of the community that called them out for what they were saying, because of the ramifications that come from the words that they're saying. The fact that people who are transgendered men and women, and by the way, when I say women or when I say men, transgendered men, I'm counting them as men, and transgender women are women. So that's the whole thing. So, but in this situation, since I'm talking about this in particular, that's how I'm like distinguishing. But like every time, like I see, so like when I saw that, and I was like, they're telling you what is happening. They're explaining to you that when you say words like this, you are empowering certain people in our society who think it's okay to kill someone because they don't agree with who this person is. They don't agree because they found themselves attracted to a person who's transgendered, so they decide that, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna be doing this because I'm angry because this. And I just sit there and I was like, just apologize. It doesn't take anything for you to learn, and stop telling people of part of the community to teach you something. Google is free and you can learn if you wanted to. You have YouTube to teach you. You have Google to teach you. Bing, for heaven's sake, if you want to use Bing. Like, you have platforms, a plethora of platforms. You have books you can read that will be teaching you on this particular subject, all of them. So for you to be ignorant and act as if like, oh no, listen, y'all just don't want to give me y'all just don't want to allow me, teach me here, teach me. Guys, how can you, This has been addressed in movie. Of course, sometimes these movies do poorly on addressing these situations, but they address this. They speak on it. They talk about it. These situations have been discussed. These topics have been discussed so many times that for you to sit down and say, "Oh, you all need to educate me," are you kidding me? There's so many platforms for them to educate you that are educating you. If you just go and just on any platform, if you wanted to learn, you could have learned if you wanted to. There are doctors that talk about it. There are people who have transitioned that talk about it. There are psychologists that have talked about it. There's a lot of things. There is a lot of information you can use. It's not on people it's not on people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community or trans people to teach you. And like for me, when it comes to like the sometimes the community of ours, and it's men, women of this country, right? Who in a lot of situations, like you talk about gender-based violence, and then they'll find an excuse to stand up for someone who was abusing someone, like, oh, she had no respect. Oh, what was she wearing? Even a child, I don't know what was an infant child wearing for them to get raped? What was an old woman wearing for her to get raped? I should be able to walk around naked and not you look at me like I am a thing you need to devour. Like, imagine this. Back in the day, when I look at a lot of our cultural clothing, you were bare-chested. Down here, you were barely covered. And no one was raped. No one was gonna rape you because you were dressed like that. But in this society, I don't know. I need to disappear for them not to want to rape me. Just like in this situation, I just look at it now like, when that question was asked of like, is it safe? Guys, it's not even safe to be a woman in this country. So I don't know how I'm gonna sit down and say, oh yeah, no, it's safe for you to come along. Like, I would love to say that, but from the protesting that was happening when yet another person part of the LGBTQ plus community was killed, and then people act like that didn't happen, except for the community itself having to speak out on it and to actually like tell you guys this is happening, and then people are acting like it's not happening because, oh listen, I said that this is a sin. Funny enough, people who always say that this is a sin or something like that are people who are in the middle of committing their own types of sins that would be like, oh, this is a sin, or that's a sin, or that's a sin. And then you just sitting there going like, we're like, oh no, this is not being judgmental. I'm just saying my opinion. I'm just following what I'm just like sitting there like, you know what? Okay, it's fine. You know what? Just get out of my face. Like, I remember I was watching Uzalo, right? And like, it was just an episode that I was watching, and I forgot the name of the character, right? But I'm not quite sure what pronouns they go by, and I'm so sorry that I did not do my research on it. But I think they identify as a she. So I'm gonna say like she was like, she is beautiful, okay? And she was dressed, she was like, she just came back, I think from Joburg or something, and then she was the hairdresser, and she was there before, and I think most of the main characters are coming back. And like I was sitting with somebody and they were like, oh wow, he is this boy. I was like, you know what? I corrected them sitting there, and of course because it's this country, and it was a guy, black guy, and like, you were like, no, this is the situation, no, this is what I say, this is what I'm saying, no, this is a man, this is that, yes, they're wearing like that. I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, I just cannot. Ignorance, like I just guys, this is like even the reason why I was like this is the question I keep forgetting to ask somebody before I start dating them, which is more telling. And for me, I never want to be with somebody who we don't even share the same values. Like the question of like, how do you feel when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community? How do you feel about trans people, and how do you feel about bi people and all of that? Like those are the questions that I feel like those are the next questions that I want to ask before I get into a new relationship, because a lot of the times I feel like the answers to that, when they're no longer doing the thing of trying to impress you, even when they're lying, is more telling. And for me, somebody who cannot be accepting of everybody, I just feel like they're not for me and we are not for each other. So I should just move on in that situation. So that's the situation. So that's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, those are the questions that I should ask, because like when I look at it and I realize that I never actually asked that question, because for me, I'm like, if I have a child who then decides to come out, right, and I feel like I want to have a child if they are like if they are part of the LGBTQ plus community and that is who they are, I want them to be comfortable enough. If I have a child, by the way, I want them to be comfortable enough and to be free enough to come to me and tell me that, hey, mom, hey, hey, I am this and this is who I am, and I'm gonna be 100% accepted. I remember, I think I was in varsity and I was even telling my cousins, I was like, listen, for me, the one thing is, whatever my kid wants to be is who they're going to be. I will never, because listen, I'm gonna die and I'm gonna leave you on this earth. Your decisions should definitely not be influenced by how I feel. I'm gonna die and leave you, and whatever decision you have made, it's literally solely going to be on you, because whatever is gonna happen after I'm dead, you're still gonna have to live that life. And I want you to live in a life where you're closeted. So for me, I hope that I'm gonna have that type of a life with my child, enough that they're gonna be free and open enough to tell me that, mommy, this is who I am. And I definitely want to be there. The one thing I'm appreciative of is like when I'm on TikTok, right? I don't know, people keep saying you're on this side or you're this side. I don't even know which side, but I am part. The side that I usually like, the videos that I mostly see, videos from like the LGBTQ plus community, amongst other things. But like those are the main ones, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm learning so much and things that I didn't even know were a problem because of my ignorance, and I didn't know that these things were plaguing people, and this is what was happening. So I'm learning more and more. I'm even learning when it comes to doing like the pronouns, like asking those questions, not judging someone, also not questioning someone if they don't want to come, if they don't want to open up to you. Again, it's none of your goddamn business for you to ask. So things like that. I'm sorry if you're hearing dogs. I'm so sorry. It's late at night and they're just barking. It's been barking for a while. I'm sorry about that. So. But basically, so that is where I am with that whole situation, because every time you're out here in this world, and then you're just hearing people, like people just say things like hating someone for who they actually are. Because like for me, I'm not gonna message and go like who they chose. No, this is who they are. It's not who they chose. This is who they are. And it, like every time when I was like looking at documentaries and they're talking about like, I don't know what those it was in the US. I don't know if it's they're probably there. I don't know if they're there in South Africa, but I think they might be there. Conversion therapy, I think that's what they're called. And like it breaks my heart that there's someone that went through that trauma, a parent that put their child through that trauma because they didn't want to accept their child for who they were. It just breaks my heart that you are so selfish and so self-centered that you think everything is about you, including your children's sexuality, that you have to make everything about you. Like, how would people see us? How are people going to think? Who cares? Who cares? The world is going to talk one way or the other. How is it any of your business? Like I can't understand. How is it any of your business? It annoys the heck out of me. And there's still a lot more that I'm still gonna learn, and I'm open to learning, and I want to learn. I want to understand, and I want to be like part of the people who are like actually like where we're actually all moving together and everything. Because like for me, I always ask people who are like homophobic, especially when they are black or a person of color, and I'm like, listen, you felt some sort of a way when a whole group of people decided to look at you and judge you as if you are not human, as if you shouldn't exist, as if you are less than. And you are the same people that turn around to look at another group of people and you tell them that they are less than and that they shouldn't even exist and that it somehow makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, when I hear that, I'm like, do you not think you're a hypocrite? Do you not think that in your mind, do you think you're better than like a whole community of people because you think that you are superior or something like that? Tell me how that is different from racists telling you that you are an animal and that, oh, even less than an animal, in fact. And you turn around to do that to someone else. You knew how much trauma that gave to you. You know how much when you're around the store, somebody following you to make you feel uncomfortable. You know, going to certain areas and you can feel that it feels like you're not welcome here because of who you are. And you turn around to want to traumatize someone the same way you were traumatized. By calling them names. By killing them. By somehow you thinking that you realize that people who are gay, lesbian, pan, asexual, and everybody, people who are part of the community, people who are part of the community, who you still realize they still have preference, right? Also, you see a lot of people that go like, oh no, I don't want to be next to a gay person. I mean, like they're gonna hit on them. Like, my guy, not even a woman wouldn't want you to hit on them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't want to hit on you. So calm down. They still have preference. They still have, they still things that they like and things that they don't like. You know, so calm down. Nobody wanted you in the first place, so calm down. Just calm the heck down, okay? It's just, when I look at it, I'm just like, I know I do not have any business talking in this situation as if I'm part of it. I'm just giving my 2 cents when it comes to a situation that I see even happening around here and like what I've seen, and I'm so disappointed as well. Like, I will keep saying it. Like, if you're in my life and you say something, and I will keep correcting you. I don't care what you think of me. If you think I'm just being annoying, I'm gonna keep correcting you, and you're gonna keep hating me, and I don't really care. I'm gonna keep doing it no matter what. Because, like, even my friends, I remember even when this whole situation, we used to talk about this, they knew my stance, and I didn't feel like arguing back and forth because I was like, this is, like, for me, I really don't care at this point. Like, this is not going anywhere. You know my stance, and you know who I support. It's definitely not gonna be the religious people. It's definitely not gonna be people hating. I'm definitely not gonna be homophobes. Like, please, you're not the ones I'm supporting. Get out of here. You're not it. No, thank you. I don't want to be there. Like, you know, like every time I see people go like this straight TikTok, man, and every time you get a glimpse of that side, you're like, oh my god. I am actually glad I'm not on that side. I don't know what that side is, but I do not know who you have to follow to be following on that situation. But I've never been on that side of TikTok. If it didn't exist, I don't even know how those things work. Listen, I feel like a dumb old person when I'm trying to work TikTok. But if I go by what people are saying, there's a certain section of TikTok that I don't want to end up on. And for now, since I've been using it, for the months that I've been using it, I've not ended up on that side. So I'm pretty glad that I've not been to that side, because it sounds like it's hectic, and it sounds like you people are way too bothered about somebody else's sexuality. Like, I need somebody comfortable. You know what? Like, you know, there's a thing where I'm like, I need somebody, if I'm going to be like with somebody, I need somebody comfortable. You're comfortable within your sexuality enough that if another person, if a gay person or anything like that, or transsexual, transgender person comes close to you, you're not going to be like, I don't want this. I don't want that issue. Like, calm down. Calm down, Chad. Calm down. Okay? We don't want that. We don't need that. Can you just... Okay? So, I think it's just that situation where I'm just a kid. And of that situation, if you're going like, oh no, Pfunzo, let me argue against, and maybe standing here, listen, I don't care. I don't, as you see me like this, I don't care what you think. Listen, I'm glad that you're here to support me. But I'm hoping that the more you're seeing me, the more you're gonna just educate yourself on certain situations, and you're gonna be like, okay, you're gonna come up and be seeing that the error of your ways, or you're gonna learn more about situations, and you're just gonna be, keep quiet or just keep it moving. I don't know. But in any case, guys, I think this is gonna be the end of this podcast. My mouth is dry, and I've been talking for so long. And also, I don't know how much eye contact I was doing in this situation, because since I've been doing the podcast, I've literally just been looking here as if there's somebody in this direction. There isn't. And hopefully maybe someday I'm gonna get somebody on the podcast for us to be discussing the situation, so that you get two sides of the story, not just me just talking, but though it is called Pfunzo's view. I mean, it is my view after all. By the way, I am Pfunzo, by the way. The channel is The Vendor Chef. I am The Vendor Chef, and my actual name is Pfunzo, so don't be surprised. I don't know why I'm saying surprised as if it's not there. I'm just, who is it? Sometimes basically these are the conversations that are happening in my head a lot of the times before I say anything out loud. So I hope I was not going too fast. I hope you actually enjoyed this. I hope you're gonna come back for more. If you have not seen all my other ones, what are you waiting for? I mean, come on, they're here. They're here for you. They're here for you to listen, to watch, to enjoy. If you feel like you want to take a break from listening to me just ramble on and on and on, there are videos for you to watch. Me cooking, there are recipes there for you, Or if you just want to hear me talking about situations which is over edited, it's also there. I've spoken about other situations. This is the 7th podcast episode. So I mean, guys, come on. If you feel like you have a whole day and you're just going to be cleaning and you just want to be listening to a wonderful voice talking to you, this is a podcast for you to watch. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell down below, right next to the subscribe button, so that you get notified as soon as I post these videos. Also, pick the all option. Ooh, English. See, this is why I'm leaving. My data bundles of English are just depleting. Even that sentence didn't make any sense. But anyway, guys, love you, gotta leave you, and until next time, bye.